You're with Virginia on ABC Radio Melbourne.
What we are seeing and noting, and I'm sure you would know this in your life now, and you're probably making preparations like this in order to have a virtual Mother's Day, is that seniors, some seniors who maybe have resisted the digital world or who have been afraid that maybe they couldn't understand it or have struggled with it in the past, are coming online and finding the transition has been relatively painless. Dr. Torgeir Aleti is an RMIT university lecturer. RMIT's Shaping Connections project is a place where older Australians can start building technological skills. And he joins you now to talk this through. Dr. Aleti, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I guess we're just relying here on anecdotal evidence, or is it something more substantial to reveal to us that older Victorians and Melburnians are more willingly and happily getting online?
No, we see similar patterns. So in our Shaping Connections program that's led by me and Bernardo Figueiredo, we have been working very closely with seniors and working on the barriers that they perceive to connecting online, and also the rhythms of usage that they prefer. And although we, from talking to people long time before the current situation we have now, we saw that many of the common barriers were based on a variety of stereotypes, as older people being incapable, not interested, and otherwise not having the skills to use technology. And to some extent, you have these stereotypes then being perpetuated both by younger people that avoid having conversations with older people about technology, but you also see it being internalized in older people as they start to sort of live out this role that they've been given. But the situation that we have now, of course, strips away a lot of those stereotypes. So now you can't just say, well, my preference is to and I listened to your previous caller here, which I found really fascinating and a really good example.
Well, it is a good example, and yes, you're right. I mean, the preference, and I've heard it from many people saying, no, I like to go into the bank. I'd rather go into the bank. I don't want to use online banking, for example. I don't trust it and the like. Well, I guess necessity is the mother of invention, and also of reskilling yourself. You have to learn. But has it been an unfair assumption about older Australians, and has it been a stereotyping that's not borne out, in fact?
I believe so, yes, and I think there's important lessons to be learned here, because when we look at the older age cohorts, yes, they are the lightest users as an age group of a variety of technology, including social media. But they're also the least likely to suffer from FOMO or to feel that they're overwhelmed and that they fear that social media in particular is going to take up more and more of their time in the future. They don't have those fears, and they're also the least likely to use their devices while they're in the toilet or so forth. They would be more likely to use or to log on at certain times of the day, more likely to use a desktop as opposed to a phone. So I think there's lessons to be learned about how they go by using technology as well.
Interesting comments coming in on this. Coronavirus has brought my 70-plus-year-old sister into the 21st century, says Annie in Melbourne. She's finally learned how to use a mobile phone. Can't get her off it now. Makes multiple phone calls each and every day. And I'm getting a warning here from Anne. Virginia, I'm late 60s and spent 20 years prior to retirement working with computers. I've had a WhatsApp group with my children for 2 years, and I have Zoom meetings with them on a weekly basis. Careful, I'm just a decade and a half ahead of you, says Anne. Yes, fair observation there. No, look, I accept it. I think it has been an unfair and untrue stereotyping for some older Australians. But also, we've got to talk here about the digital divide, don't we, Dr. Aleti? I mean, it's all very well to encourage older Australians who may have resisted it to embrace this new technology, but not if they've got, lousy dial-up, or they don't have the NBN, or they've got a rubbish computer that actually, or a service that doesn't provide them with the speed and the system that they need.
Yeah, look, we have also found in our research that the device ownership tends to be higher than the confidence in using it. So that I think, well, yeah, there is some truth that older Australians will be, lagging a little bit in terms of buying the newest and flashiest technology at any given time, but many of them actually have devices, and I think what we're seeing now is that now they're left in a situation where I have to use it because I may prefer to meet someone face to face, but now that is no longer an opportunity to do so. So then then we got to go and do things online.
In another way, that's right. Dr. Aleti, really good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Torgeir Aleti, RMIT University lecturer there. I'm sure you've had a lot of experience of this yourself, of either getting much more conversant with the digital age and the apps and the technologies and tools that allow you to connect much more easily now, or perhaps encouraging an older person in your life to do the same.